Hey there folks, welcome to lesson 18 of the Microsoft AZ-800 course. Today we're going to talk about the Windows Admin Center. With Windows Server 2019, Microsoft has released this new free utility called Windows Admin Center. It goes without saying that this tool is obviously also available on Windows Server 2022 as well. It was just released in 2019 version of Server, but you can obviously find this on the newer version as well. This tool will most likely become the major tool for server management. Now, what I mean by that is you've probably noticed by now that pretty much everything is going virtual, everything is going remote, and everything is going cloud. So, where this tool comes into the picture is it's going to allow you to manage your servers via web console in a browser, for example. I mean, we all knew we were heading this direction if you look at how quickly technology is evolving and changing and all that. So it's no surprise at all that we now have the ability to manage everything from the comfort and convenience of one platform. In this case, that platform is the Windows Admin Center, and I'm doing it via something like, well, a web browser. Now, yes, we're talking about the Windows Admin Center, but there's actually many tools out there. Just Microsoft alone, I know of many tools that does something similar to this. Not necessarily manage the same components, but they achieve the same goal. You can manage many things from the convenience of one location or one platform. End of the day, it's a matter of why work harder when you can work smarter. Okay, so you're probably wondering what exactly we can do with this fancy new toy. I mean tool. Well, the answer is actually way too big for just one lesson. But if I have to summarize it into a nutshell, it allows you to manage physical servers on premises. That's now assuming you still have any of those. You can manage your Hyper-V virtual servers if you've got those. You can manage servers in the cloud, which are hosted on Azure. And then you can also go manage servers in a hosted environment. So as you can tell, it pretty much allows you to manage any of your servers anywhere from anywhere. I mean, that's the future, right? So you get all the functionality we've just mentioned so far at no additional cost. It's completely free, and no, I wasn't paid to say that. This tool is basically going to simplify and streamline your server management via, well, web console. Now this bad boy allows you to configure and troubleshoot your servers as well as manage your workloads remotely, all from one convenient location, being obviously the web console in your web browser. Now that we have a bit of an overview of this tool, let's take a look at some of the technicalities, and then after that, maybe some of the benefits of the Admin Center. Okay, so with regard to some of the technicalities, the Windows Admin Center consolidates multiple admin tools into a single console that can be easily deployed and accessed through a web interface, something we've mentioned before, and that's really going to make your life a lot easier. Right off the bat, you can already see this tool is going to make your life a lot easier as an admin when it comes to managing all kinds of things. You will no longer have to log into multiple platforms and manage all of your stuff all over the place, by logging into multiple platforms. That can be a real schlep sometimes. You can do it all from the comfort and convenience of one place and one location. The Windows Admin Center is a modular web application comprised of the following four modules. The first of which is Server Manager, which most of you folks should be familiar with already. If you've worked on server before, which is probably the case, it's already going to be a lot easier for you to use the Admin Center. Now, not that it's hard to use the Windows Admin Center, don't get me wrong, the tool is very easy to use. It's just if you have experience of certain things, like the Windows Server Manager or perhaps like the Azure portal, it's going to look and feel very familiar to you, and you're going to be able to figure it out a lot quicker than someone that is doing this for the very first time. So Microsoft has specifically made this and designed this in such a way so that it looks and feels very familiar to other things you might have used. So if you've used Server Manager or the Azure portal, you'll find it looks and feels as if you're on Server Manager or the Azure portal at times. The buttons almost look the same. You would think at times you're on the Azure portal actually when you're not. That's how confusing it can be because it looks that much the same. Anyway, so some of the other modules it consists of is the failover clusters, hyperconverged clusters, and Windows 10's clients. Well, I suppose if I say it like that, it might sound a bit outdated considering, well, Windows 11 is now released, I think since October 2021. So maybe I should say Windows 10 clients and Windows 11 clients, because let's face it, if it can manage Windows 10, it can manage Windows 11. Okay, and then folks, Windows Admin Center has two main components. The first of which is Gateway. Note, you're not always going to make use of this though, especially if you're going to make use of the new version of Windows Admin Center, which is on the Azure portal. Yes, you get different versions on different places that you're going to install different ways and manage different ways. Now, if that sounds confusing to you, you can use and install the Windows Admin Center in various ways on various locations. You can install it on premises on your machines there, or you can install and run it in the cloud. For example, you can make a virtual machine in the cloud, someplace like on Azure, and you can install an operating system on it and then just install the Windows Admin Center. You do it from the portal, not on the virtual machine itself. You should be aware, though, that it only works on Windows Server 2019 and onwards. So if you intend on installing an operating system on your virtual machine in the cloud, make sure it's Server 2019 or newer. Anything older, not going to work. Okay, so anyway, getting back to the second main component, before I forget, that would be the web server. Now that is some of the technicalities, people. So let's take a peek into some of the benefits of the Windows Admin Center. There's actually quite a few benefits, too many to mention maybe, but let's list some of them nonetheless, so you at least have an idea of what you're letting yourself into and if you're going to be using this. So the first benefit I want to mention is, of course, the familiar functionality, which I mentioned a few minutes ago. As I said before, the platform is of such nature it's going to look and feel very familiar to you, even if you have never actually used it before. It looks and feels a lot like other things you might have used, something like the Server Manager, of course, which we mentioned earlier, and maybe something like the Azure portal, which we mentioned earlier. This tool is very easy to install and use. And now if you're thinking to yourself at this point that, hey, I don't know how to install this, how could it be easy then? Well, that's most likely because this tool is relatively new. Once you see how it's installed, you'll see what I mean by the word easy. Now, yes, I did say earlier this can be installed in multiple ways on multiple places. So I'm not going to show you guys how to install it all of those ways. That's going to make this video way too long. I can, however, give you guys a quick demo of at least one way to go and do it. I suppose that won't make this video too long, I hope. Okay, anyway, getting back to the list. The Windows Admin Center complements existing solutions, so this extends to a lot of things, quite frankly. This can be something as simple as a physical old server on premises, one of those old servers that you might not even use anymore, maybe. It doesn't matter if you have a physical or a virtual server on premises, you name it, this platform pretty much complements them all. Man, it sounds like I'm trying to sell this product, doesn't it? In case you're wondering, no, I'm not. I'm not getting paid to say any of this. I'm simply explaining some of the benefits of this tool. That's all. So, still on the topic of this third benefit though, it allows you to manage pretty much any server, anytime, from anywhere. There is no reason for you to, well, pretty much be physically at the office anymore if you think about it. And now obviously there are some other tools out there that does very much the same as this in the sense of remotely connecting to servers and remotely managing such servers. But do those tools that you're thinking of right now, do they all allow you to go and connect to many kinds of servers and many platforms all at the same time from the convenience of one platform? Probably not. With this tool, like we said earlier, you can manage many servers, many different platforms, Azure, on-premises, virtual machines, you name it, all from the convenience of one platform. So that's what makes this slightly different compared to those other tools. When we haven't even started on some of the other benefits yet. So if you are one of those folks that has gotten pretty comfortable of working from home due to the pandemic, well, that's fine. You can keep doing that if that's what you want to go and do. If you use this tool, you can. Why work harder when you can work smarter, as the saying goes? Anyway, all right, enough of this topic. Let's get to the next topic, which is the fact that this tool is manageable from the internet. I suppose we technically just covered that one now that I think about it. Due to the previous topic, I went too far to the previous topic. My bad. Anyway, so we also have benefits like enhanced security, like you would expect of anything new. We have Azure integration. You might have been able to guess that much since I've mentioned the fact, I've mentioned Azure quite a lot in this lesson so far. We have extensibility, and then we also have no external dependencies, which is a pretty big deal. The scary thing is this list is much, much longer than this, but that would make this video way too long, so we're not going to go and do that. This list we have here right now in front of us should give you a pretty decent idea already of what you're in for, so I think this should be fine for now. Okay, so since we're pretty much done at the benefits, let's give you folks a quick demo on how you can go about getting this tool and where you can download it and where you can go and install it and all of that kinds of things. Okay, so since we're done with the benefits pretty much, let's give you folks a quick demo on how you can get this tool, how and where you can download it, and how you can go about installing it. Well, at least one of the ways that is. Now, for the purposes of this demo, I'm going to use a virtual machine which has Windows Server 2019 installed. Please note though that you are not just limited to Windows Server 2019 with the Windows Admin Center. You can run this on many server versions. Now, yes, I know earlier in this video I said you need to run this on Windows Server 2019 or newer. But that was if you're going to go and do that on Microsoft Azure. If you're going to go and do this on, let's say, on-premises machines, then that does not apply. So if you're doing this elsewhere, like on a physical server, virtual servers on premises, you can run this bad boy on server versions as old as Server 2008 R2. Yep, I'm serious, not even joking. Now please don't confuse Server 2008 with Server 2008 R2. It's not the same operating system, folks. Another note I want to give you folks before we jump into this demo is even though Windows Admin Center works on operating systems as old as Server 2008 R2, it has very limited functionality on that operating system. So only from Server 2012 will you have full functionality. So from 2008 R2 you'll have limited functionality, and then the operating system right after that, 2012 version of server onwards, all the way to the most recent version, whatever that might be at the time when you watch this video, you will have full functionality. Now, isn't that something? What I also want to mention, I know we're mentioning a lot of things before we jump into the demo, is if you're going to go and install this on one of those server versions we just mentioned, just make sure it's not on a domain controller. If you're going to try this on a domain controller, you're going to see it's not going to work. It's going to give you an error. Doesn't work. Don't install this on a domain controller. It's going to give you an error. Alright, so enough of all of that. Let's finally switch over to this virtual machine I keep bragging about. So let's switch over. Alright, here we are on that server I spoke of. So this is once again server 2019, and just for interest's sake, this is a virtual machine running in the cloud, more specifically on the Azure portal. Now, for the purpose of this example, it doesn't matter whether this is a machine running on premises, whether it's running in the cloud, because of the way I'm going to go about installing this. So you could go via the portal itself on Azure, and you can go and install the admin center via that way. That's not the way I'm going to be demonstrating in this video. Or you can do it on the machine itself, which is what I'm going to be doing. And because I'm going to be doing it on the machine itself, for that reason, it doesn't matter if I'm doing it on a virtual machine in the cloud or a virtual machine on premises or a physical machine on premises. I do want to point out, though, that you just should not try to do this on a server that's your domain controller. I might have mentioned that already. You're going to get an error. So I'm going to go here to the bottom. I have Chrome open already. If this is a real server of yours, you probably don't want to go and install a third-party browser on that server. That's normally a no-no. That is very unsecure, very risky. But since this is a blank server in a cloud, which I purely created just for this demonstration, it doesn't really matter. So normally you would probably go and use something like Internet Explorer, but I really don't like Internet Explorer for my own reason, but I think the same is going to probably apply to you folks. So I'm going to go open Chrome here. I already pre-downloaded and pre-installed it for the purposes of this thing. And you can see I pre-downloaded the file there already. So how I got that file, let me close this up so I can show you guys. I'm going to go paste the link here at the top. Now, to make things easier for you guys, at this point I'm going to zoom in for you guys. And I'm also going to make a little bubble pop up here with that link. And then also for your convenience, I'm going to drop this link in the video description down below. If you don't want to go and use that link because you're concerned of security, that's fine. You can also go run a search online for it. Go run a search in Google or whatever. You should probably find more or less the same link. For curiosity's sake, the WAC stands for Windows Admin Center, and that's download, obviously. It's not going to open a page when I smash the enter key right now. Instead, you'd find it's going to download something here at the bottom. It's approximately 80 megabytes in size, so it's about 79 point something. I think it's 79.2. So if I press enter, let's do that. You'll see what's going to happen. Starts downloading it. It's about 79.2 megabytes in size. There's the admin center. It is a free download, completely free of charge, so you don't have to worry about costs involved. Let's go open that sucker. There it is. You can see I already had the Chrome there as well. I'm going to double click that installation so you can get an idea, a feel for it. Give it a moment to do its thing. And normally at this point in time is where you will encounter an error if you're trying to do this on a domain controller. Don't try it on a domain controller. It's going to give you an error. I believe in the error it actually says that you're trying to install it on a domain controller and it's not allowed. So don't try it. You're going to be wasting your time. So this is a license agreement, standard license agreement. I normally say in some of my videos that this is like getting married. You don't know what you're getting into until it's too late. So then only afterwards you're going to realize that, oh shoot, what did I agree to? My wife is going to kick my butt for saying that. Anyway, so here we go. You don't really have a choice here. So let's go and accept. Next. Do you want to send diagnostic data to Microsoft or not? I myself normally am not too keen on sending that, but at the end of the day, it's your choice. Considering this is a blank server that I'm just using for a demo, I'm just going to leave it on the defaults, but realistically, I'm probably going to go and choose that one in most cases. Let me just go click on next. Speaking of the defaults, normally updates is something that you would find that downloads up, by default. That's the recommended option, and I see it is the recommended option. But what I find strange here is the fact that it's not selected by default. It says I don't want to use Microsoft Update. So that is the default option here. I did not click on that, which I find interesting because normally Microsoft loves forcing updates down our throats. So yeah, let's just leave it on recommended for now. I'm going to click on next. Install Windows Admin Center on Windows Server, use the gateway. So that's all fine and good. So I'm just going to go click on next. Allow Windows Admin Center to modify this machine's trusted host settings, automatically update. So we're going to leave that on. I'm going to leave it on the defaults for now. Next, there is the port we're going to be using. So for those of you not familiar with networking or ports, that port is for HTTPS, which is secure browsing, or also known as encrypted browsing. So remember that port number there. We're going to leave it on the defaults for now. Install. Give it a moment to do its thing. I'm going to fast forward this just to speed things along for you guys. So here we go.
One eternity later.
And we're back. So that was about a 2-minute, 3-minute time lapse just to speed things along for you guys. Please take note of that URL there. That's important for you to be able to access this. So as I say, open this URL in your browser. You don't have to go and type 443. That's just to show you what port it's going to be on. So if I'm going to go to my browser, which I'm going to do in just a second, type in HTTPS and then the server's name, Windows Server 20, and that is it. You don't have to go and type that at the back. So I suppose I can go and click on that. Let me see what happens if I click on that. Just want to see if it actually opens it. It's probably going to open Internet Explorer. Yeah, that's why. That's one of the reasons I don't use Internet Explorer is because it doesn't work in Internet Explorer. So you might want to go and use some sort of third-party browser on your server if you're going to go and try that. So I'm going to go and close that. I'm instead going to go and type in that manually on my Chrome browser. So there's no wwws involved. It's just HTTPS, Windows Server 20. So let's go and try that. HTTPS Windows Server 20, and it's probably going to ask me for a username and a password. There we go. You see, that's different than what we saw on Internet Explorer. There's a good chance it's going to ask you for your username and password for your server. So I'm just going to leave this on the defaults for now. Next. Now, I just installed this, and already we're seeing something there. Now, that is the server I'm on right now. So the server you're on right now, which you're installing this on, that server is going to show in this list already. And then from that point forward, you can go and add additional servers here. These could be servers, like we've said before, that can be on premises. These could be physical servers on premises. They could be virtual server on premises, like Hyper-V. They could be servers running on Azure, virtual machines running on Azure. They could be in some sort of hosted environment somewhere else. So you can go here and you can go and add those little suckers there. You can go and choose what kind of machines do you want to add, what kind of machines do you want to go and manage. The amount of flexibility you have here is just insane. So there's probably going to be another few videos about this later during this course where I'll show you guys more in depth on how to go and use this, although it's not really required for the exam per se. It is going to help you understand this a little bit better. But what I've showed you so far in this video is actually already enough for you to be able to pass this AZ-800 exam. Not necessarily AZ-801. Don't confuse the two exams. It's not the same exam. But with regards to the first one being the AZ-800, this should be relatively enough. But I'm going to go and see if I can show you guys another video too after this one that just goes slightly a little bit more in depth with regards to these topics. Alright folks, I hope you've learned something. I hope you've gotten at least an idea now what the Windows Admin Center is. If you've learned something, if you've enjoyed this video, remember to give this video a like. It does help me and it does show me that you've enjoyed the video, that you've learned something. And if you'd like to know when the next lesson of this course comes out, or just in general some of my other courses, remember to also hit that subscribe button down below. Lastly in this video, just a special thank you to the sponsors of this channel. So there's a few Patreon sponsors. Special thank you to those guys. Thank you very much, guys. And also thank you to the PayPal sponsor of this channel. If you'd like to also sponsor this channel so I can continue making more videos like this, you can find all of that information in the video description down below, guys. Alright folks, stay frosty. I'll see you on the next lesson.
If you love me, let me know. If you don't, then let me.